Oh, we have only 4 souls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My God, Loka.
Welcome. Let's make a little pre-start. Wait, we hope that some more people will find their ways here. Let's sing this Shiva song together. I hope it comes in.
Shiva
Hari-om, Hari-om, Hari-om.
Welcome and welcome to Sacha Dham and to this season's show of Lord Shiva spoke thus of Satsang Theatre by Shanti Mayi of Friakademi from Sweden. Today we are going to do three things. First of all, Shri Devadas will speak about Shiva Sutras, and there are 112 of them. And these Shiva Sutras are the meditation techniques to take you into transcendental state. Secondly, we are going to practice some of the meditation techniques, not all of them because the time doesn't permit them. And thirdly, and most importantly, this forum, this platform will be open for your questions, your doubts and your inquiries. So ladies and gentlemen, without taking much of your time, may I invite Shri Devadas. Please give him a big hand here.
Namaste, namaste, namaste. And when I say namaste, there are chairs over there if you want to sit down. Please. When I say namaste, meaning the Guru in me greets the Guru in you. So let's say namaste together. 1, 2, 3. Namaste. Yes. And so I will, from the beginning, say that I'm not a guru, but I will act guru here, and the guru is in your heart. The feeling you know already in your heart, to listen to that which is the truth from there. So, but now we will start with a short meditation. Let's do a short meditation before I start. So try to sit up a little bit straight, and it is one of the Shiva meditations in a way. And just breathe out first. Just breathe out, and breathe in. And relax the breath totally in a big ha. And then you breathe in again. And let's make another like ha. And now put your attention on the nostrils and put attention on how the breath comes in through the nostrils and goes out through the nostrils. Comes in and it goes out, and you feel the sensation when the air passing your nostrils, and let the breath be relaxed, normal and harmonious. You left the streets and now finally you arrive here, and so you don't have to worry anymore. Just relax and breathe out and breathe in. Breathe out. This is a very useful meditation, attention on the breath. I start with that, so at least you've learned something when you came here. It's simple and easy, and when you get angry or in a tsunami of emotions, return to your breath, and from the breath you relax and you connect with your inner voice in your heart. And you can act instead of reacting. Okay, scene 1. I see a big ocean. I see rain and mist and storm, and it's a tremendous weather. It's like a dark and raining, and the wind is organ and stormy. And in this big sea, I see a big whale, a big fish swimming. And it's swimming, and it has a big rope in its mouth. And the whale is actually a rishi from Tibet who has gone in fish harbor. And it's pulling behind it a big mass of land. And it's swimming and swimming. And when it reaches Asia and China, the fish dives down and the whole block of continent crashes into Asia, and bang, the Himalaya is rising up, the mountains are standing up, and finally India has arrived at its place. Scene 2. In the land of India, many long time ago, there was people living happily, and there was a king called Bhagiratha. Bhagiratha, he was a very good king, and the people went to him with all their problems. One day the people came and said, Bhagiratha, we have no water. Please give us some water so that the land we can grow our vegetables. And Bhagiratha, he went to sit in meditation. And he was meditating on Brahma, the heavenly God, the master of the heavens. So he was calling out, Brahma, Brahma. And after more than 1 year of severe sadhana and meditations, Brahma couldn't refuse to answer. He looked down from the heavens and asked, Bhagiratha, what is it? What do you need? So Bhagiratha said, Brahma, can you please give us Gangaji, the mother, the heavenly stream of the heavens, and bring her down to the earth? But Brahma said, I cannot grant you this wish because that will destroy the whole earth. First you must ask Shiva. Shiva is the only one who can help you. So Bhagiratha, he went meditating again for many years. And finally Shiva found compassion in Bhagiratha and his severe meditations and sadhana. So he looked down from the heavens and said, Bhagiratha, what can I help you with? And Bhagiratha told the story that he needed water. So then Shiva, out of compassion, he decided to come down to the earth. And how could he come down to the earth? Well, now there was a very high mountain called Kailash. So Shiva, he stepped down from the heavens and he put one foot on Kailash top and he stepped slowly down, and there he made his abode, the highest mountain in the Himalayas. or one of the highest, where 4 rivers start. Now, at that time, Shiva was sitting there, and also Devi was there, and they were meditating. Now, I want you to stand up a little bit. Can you please stand up? Good. You stand up, and then you must help me here a little bit. You lean a little bit forward, like you get your balance out in front of your toes, and a little bit back, without falling. And feel how the gravity pulls you down, and also feel how awareness, wakefulness, brings you up. It's like 2 counter forces. Gravity pulls you down to sleep, and up comes awareness and wakefulness. Okay, you stop there. We take a little bit forward again, and then one more time backward. And then we stop in the middle. And please say after me, O Shiva.
Oh Shiva.
This is Devi, the beloved wife of Shiva. She's asking Shiva these questions. So she starts, out of her compassion and love, she starts these questions. So she says like this, oh, one more time, O Shiva.
Oh Shiva.
What is your reality?
What is your reality?
What is your reality?
What is your reality?
What is this wonderful world?
This wonderful world.
This wonder-filled world? What constitutes seed?
What constitutes the seed?
Who centers the universal wheel?
Who centers the universal wheel?
What is this life?
What is this life?
Beyond form,
Beyond form.
pervading forms.
Pervading form.
How may we enter it?
How may we enter it?
Fully,
Fully.
above space and time,
Above space and time.
names and descriptions.
Names and descriptions.
Please clarify my doubts.
Please clarify my doubts.
Thank you very much. Please, now you can sit down. Yes. I wanted you to taste these questions. Yeah, please. If you endure, you will find something more. My God, it's really good. You can leave the chairs if you go out. Don't carry them around. Okay, these were the sweet questions from Devi. Now Shiva, he was meditating in a very blissful state. He was resting in his heart. He was resting in his natural perfection, his open intelligence, his clarity, his I amness. And he had a small smile on his face. But he said, he didn't answer what his reality was, what his reality is. He answered with 112 meditation techniques. So that we people now, 5,000 years later, by reading the sutras from Shiva, small short SMS from him, we can also understand and experiment with these techniques and see if we have any benefit from them, if they can help us in our daily life. And there is nothing to believe in. There is no religion, there is no philosophy. There are only tricks or techniques for centering, how to go from the periphery back to the center. Because we get lost in our mind and in our projections, and how to return back to base camp. So, and the first technique from Shiva is goes like this. He says to her, you can say after me, O radiant one. One more, O radiant one. When breathing, when breath goes out and turns, and goes in and turns, put attention on the turning points. Thus realize it. So this is one of the techniques from Shiva, one of the first ones, and we can practice that for a short moment. So if you sit straight a little bit and just try to find the point where the breath shifts from going out, going in, and from in, going out. At the turning points, there is a small gap. Put attention there. And in that gap, amnesty, it appears. So, just sit and straight and breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. And breathe in. And put attention on the point where the breath turns, the turning points. Do that for half a minute. I'm not going to get. I will just give you an introduction to the meditations. This you can do when you're waiting for a bus or when you're waiting for your coffee to come at German bakery, or you have nothing else to do, when you're waiting for your computer to upload, you return to the breath. And in this way, you will be very patient and blissful, because you will enter into a space of no time at all, beyond time. Being is endless, and you realize, you reconnect with that space which is timeless and beyond beginning and end, like the blue sky. This is very useful. And now these techniques, the first 9 techniques, or 8 of them from Shiva, has been used very much in Buddhism and in Zen Buddhism. And the whole Vipassana training is about attention on the breath. And if you ever get the chance to do a 10-day Vipassana retreat, make yourself that as a birthday present or something, because it's very good present for yourself. Total holiday and very busy also. So, now the techniques from Shiva are very old, and at the time of Buddha, they were already known with the sadhus. So Buddha, when he went around, he met many sadhus, and they were initiating him in the Shaivism and the Shiva Sutras. So, and this also traveled with a silk caravan all the way to Greece, through Persia and to Egypt. And one day there was a man living in Egypt, and his name was Pythagoras. You may have heard him, he was a very famous mathematician. Now, Pythagoras, he heard that there was in Egypt a mystery school. And in this mystery school, in this mystery school, there was, they knew about the Shiva Sutras. So, he decided that he would make an effort to go to visit this school. So Pythagoras, he went, he sat down and he went down over with a boat over the Mediterranean, and he went to Cairo. And from Cairo he traveled many days on camel. And one day he reached the gate of this mystery school, which was in the desert. And he came to the door and he knocked on the door. And there was a man, a doorman, who opened a little window in the door and looked at him. And now Pythagoras, he was a very scholar and proud man. So he said, like, "Good morning, I am Pythagoras, the famous mathematician from Greece. And now I come to study what you have here in the mystery school." And they looked at him and they slammed the door and closed it. He was not allowed into the mystery school. So now Pythagoras, he got very surprised. Why wouldn't he? He was the most learned man in the whole ancient Greece. He was a famous scientist from the friakademi, which actually I'm working for, and which was started by Socrates and Plato up in the Acropolis mountain there in Greece. They had there their first satsangs, and they were walking there and giving questions and answers. This is the beginning of the friakademi, which is now also in Sweden, and it's a non-profit trust to inspire for meditation, humor, and awareness, which Pythagoras also was a member of this friakademi. Now, Pythagoras, he got very depressed. What shall I do? So he was not allowed. He was very qualified. Why wouldn't they let him into the school? So when you are in such a loss, like Pythagoras was, what can you do? Yeah, he walked around and finally he ended up in a chai shop. This chai shop was not, at that time it was not named German bakery, but it could have been. So he came into this chai shop, and he was sitting down there, and in one corner of the chai shop there was a man sitting. And Pythagoras, he started to talk to this man. And this man was not anyone, he was Mullah Nasruddin. Mullah Nasruddin said, "Oh, I heard your story and you're not allowed into the mystery school, but I know how to get the key to the mystery school." "How?" said Pythagoras. "Well, you listen very carefully and I will tell you one story that will give you the key to the mystery school." Okay, Pythagoras, he was listening very carefully, And now Mullah Nasruddin started telling the story how to get the key to the mystery school. Once upon a time, a long time ago, which was also very near, there was a princess living. And this princess, she had a father, there was a king, and he had a daughter, she was the princess, and she was very, very beautiful. She was so beautiful that all the men from the neighboring cities came to visit her and wanted to marry her. And all the princes from the neighboring countries also came to visit and tried to marry her. Now what did the king do? He didn't want all these visitors, all these boys running after his daughter. So he locked her up in a tower. High up in a tower, he locked the princess in. And so she couldn't meet any of the boys. And she was living there and she was very bored. Now, one night, there was a prince coming. And he was riding on a white horse. And he came to the tower, and she knew the princess was up there in the window because he could see there was a light. So the prince, he took his flute and he played a little melody to get the attention from the princess. With his flute, and suddenly the princess up there, she was looking out through a window, and down there she saw this prince standing with his flute. Now, this was unbelievable. What is he doing there in the middle of the night? Now, the prince, he was not any prince. He had a he was well prepared for this mission he was on. He was a Don Quixote of his time. And he had a little Sancho Pancho in the form of a beetle with him. In a box he had a little beetle. And the beetle, he put a silk thread around his backbone. And he put this little beetle on the wall of the tower. And the beetle started to climb, up. First actually, he put some nectar, some perfume on the horns of the beetle. So he was smelling something, and he was, in this way, he was interested going up. So he was climbing up. And the princess, she was sitting there in the tower, and she was looking down through the window, and she saw the beetle coming up. And so she took the beetle, and she untied the little silk thread, and she let the beetle free because it could fly, so it flew away. And he took the silk thread and he was pulling the silk thread up. And she was pulling and pulling, and at the end of the silk thread there was a string. So she was pulling the string also, and at the end of the string there was a rope. So she started to pull the rope, and when she got the rope, she tied it in her castle room to the wall. And now the prince, who was very strong, he could climb up the rope, and he threw the princess on his shoulder, and he climbed down again, and up they went on their white horse, and riding off into the Arabian night, just as the sun was rising over the hills. And there they were living after that happily ever after. Yeah, this story was the story from SHREE. Yeah. Well, now how can this story help me? Said Pythagoras, to get the key to the mystery school. Well, SHREE, he said, it's a very mysterious story, because the silk thread, it symbolizes the breath. So once you get the silk thread, when you get hold of your breath, when you relax your breath totally, you get hold of the thread of the string. And the string symbolizes the mind. You can relax your mind. So when you get the silk thread and the string, you relax your breath and your mind. Now automatically your body relaxes. Then you have the rope. So with the breath, the mind and the body relaxed, you can rest in your heart. You're not a victim of your belief systems and points of views spinning around as projections in your head. You can return to the base, to the heart, to the emptiness, and from there you have the openness, the creativity, the source of all joy, the source of happiness that you've been looking for, and the source of laughter also. Wow, said Pythagoras. So he went into the desert and he tried this, looking for the silk thread. And the method he used was a very sweet method from Shiva, which goes like this. And in daily activity, you can say after me, in daily activities, put attention on the beginning of breath, and in a few days be born anew. Yes. Okay, we can try that a little bit. So you wake up a little bit because it's very hot, huh? So please stand up. Hello. Yes. Wow. Yes, in daily activities, we can do a daily activity like walking. So maybe if you walk a little bit round, back here, yeah, just walk anywhere and feel how the feet is touching the ground. This is walk and feel and see if you can find in walking, put attention on the beginning of breath. Let the breath be relaxed and normal, but put attention on the beginning of the breath, where the breath begins. Goes out, the breath goes out and it turns and it comes in again. You can walk slow or you can walk fast, but put attention on the beginning of the breath. Okay, you can return to your seats. Now, Pythagoras, please come back to your seats. Okay. He went into the desert, and it said in 6 weeks he got hold of his silk thread and string and rope, and suddenly he realized, I'm not my mind. I'm not all these belief systems. I'm not my mathematical formulas. I am something that I cannot express with words. So he went back to the mystery school. He knocked on the door of the mystery school. All right, and now they opened the door of the mystery school, and they looked out through the little keyhole there, and they saw Pythagoras, and he said, now I'm back, and I totally understand that you wouldn't have let me in first time I came here, but now I've been in the desert and meditating, and I know. And they just looked at him, actually. They just looked through the door, and they saw that he was totally different. Welcome. He was changed, and he was not the same Pythagoras anymore. He was curious and open-minded now. So they let him into the school, and he learned a technique in the school which is very special. It's one of the Shiva techniques, and it is very personal for me also, this technique that Pythagoras learned, because if you look across the river here and up in the jungle on the other side, there are some white railings up there. I see them from here. And there is a yogi living called Bali Yogi Premvarni. And in 1968 I was living there with him, studying yoga. And that was an experience by itself. For 3 years I was living with him, and I was also back and forth to Sweden in between, but I was coming back. And one day when I was with Premvarni, I asked him, please teach me meditation. And then he said, please come up 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. Meet me at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning, and I will teach you meditation. So I put my alarm clock. It was December. It was freezing cold up there. And I got up at 4 o'clock, and Premvarni was sitting there with such a barushi. They have a place where there is glowing coal. And now Premvarni teach me one meditation technique, which was the same that Pythagoras learned in the mystery school in Egypt. And the technique goes like this. Okay, if you sit up again, and we can try to do it. The technique goes like this. Attention between the eyebrows. Put your attention, and you say after me, attention between the eyebrows. Put mind before thought. Let essence of breath fill form. till the top of the head, and there shower us light. Yes. So this is the technique. You put your attention between the eyebrows, in the third eye. Put mind before thought. What does that mean? It means that you are watching the mind. You are watching the mind. You're watching the thoughts come and go in the mind like the clouds in the sky. Put mind before thought. Put the mirror before that which is moving in the mirror. Let essence of breath, what does it mean, essence of breath? It means the prana, the energy in the breath. So let essence of breath fill form, and fill form, that means imagine your body is like a bottle and you fill it from down to up. Let essence of breath fill form till the top of the head, and there shower us light. So, this is a sweet meditation. We try that for some minutes. With me? We try that. Okay. I will guide you. Okay, the tension between the eyebrows. Let the essence of breath fill form. Tension between the eyebrows. Put mind before thought. And let essence of breath fill form till the top of the head. And there shower us light. That was just one of my favorites. Now we come to a very practical meditation which you can do every time you eat. Let's do some eating meditation. And I'm going to give each one of you is going to get a banana. Maybe you can help and share the bananas with the people. They are there. Yeah, and please don't eat it at once. Just smell on it to begin with. Just smell on the banana. And did everybody get one? I did not get one. Everybody got a banana? Okay, very good. So, Shiva says about eating. The Shiva Sutras are very affirmative to the senses. You know, it's not like in yoga that you pull in your senses and like a tortoise goes into his Advaita cave and disappears from the world. In the Shiva Sutras you use the senses and you the other senses, you get in contact and become one with everything. So one of the ways is by eating. So Shiva says, when you can say after me, when eating and drinking, when eating and drinking become the taste of the food and drink and be filled. So, and there is another technique we can also taste. He says, Shiva says like this, when vividly aware, say after me, when vividly aware through some particular sense, keep in the awareness. Keep in the awareness. So now we smell, for example, and we can imagine. We keep in the awareness. You by smelling, you also center. You go from the periphery to being here and now. All meditation techniques is about mindfulness, returning to here and now. Thisness. This is what it's all about. So you smell, and now you're here. Back to, and then you open the banana, and then you take the sense, the taste sense instead of smelling, and you slowly you taste the banana and become the taste. Become one with the taste. And you keep in the awareness. That's very good. You're collecting the peels. Very good. We can give to the cows later. They love the peels. You have to walk around a little bit more, I think. There are some peels coming. We don't destroy the meditation hall here by the banana peels. Okay. Now I will give you these sutras so that we can look at them together, and we will do some more. Just Okay, this, did you get one? You have it? Yeah. We don't have to read the introduction, but that's also very sweet. And, mine wasn't even stapled properly, but okay. Do you have one without staples, or did you get, is it stapled or okay? Oh, somewhere down here. Alright. So, there you find how it starts. It starts with this Devi says, and it is also said that Devi, she's already enlightened. She doesn't need to ask these questions. She's in overwhelming total love and devotion to Shiva. And in total devotion and love, you are automatically free. There is nothing to be added. That's the final state that you can be in. So, Devi asked this question out of compassion for mankind. And it is said that some of these techniques may be good for ancient times, some will be good in the future, and some are good for us now. And the only way you can find out for yourself is by experimenting with them. You experiment, you don't believe anything, you experiment. And if I tell you, for example, you take a kettle and 1 liter water and you put it on the stove and you start to make fire under it, and you tell a child that this water, it will disappear, and the child will not believe you. And when you look half an hour later, the water is gone. Where did it go? So, you have to make an experiment to see if it's true or not. So, same with these meditations, you have to experiment with them. When you find out how it all works, you can make your own meditation techniques also. Oh my God, it's Durga. We have to close the windows before the monkeys come in. Yeah, but close the window, please.
We want to learn about meditation too.
Yeah. They're smelling. There's open over there also. My God, is Durga. I don't know. And I have made number 8 is that attention between the eyebrows that I learned from Balyogi Prembarni up there. I mean, actually, if you walk on the road there, halfway to Ramyola, the big road where the jeeps drive, and halfway to Ramyola there is a sign, Yoga Foundation to the left, and there is a small path going up to his gate. And you can go and see him there. He has visiting hours in the afternoon between 3 and 6. He's very old now, but he's a yogi, so he's in good shape. Number 17 we can look at. Can you see that one? Number 17. That's also very useful. It is when you listen to music, when listening to stringed instruments, put attention on the central core, thus omnipresence. That's beautiful. Just say that after me, thus omnipresence. Yeah. Then in this way you experience that you're everywhere. And if you listen to music, sitar music for example, you experience you become one with everything. This is a very nice meditation technique. There are many ones I haven't experimented with, but number 27 is the one that Pythagoras did in the desert. when in worldly activities keep attentive. This was between two breaths. Yeah. I made that wrong. In worldly activities keep attentive between the two breaths. Okay. And so practicing in a few days we go on anew. It's a little bit similar. So, and then 41 we are not allowed to do here in the ashram. So I skip that. I do that in Goa with the audience. And then we can jump down to 47. There you have the one with the banana. When eating and drinking, become the taste of the food or drink and be filled. And now, number 48. That's one of my favorites. I remember I was sitting on the floor in Bombay in the library of Osho when he gave the explanations to these techniques. And this is very beautiful. You can say after me because Shiva speaks to Devi and she is very beautiful. So he says like this: "O Lotus Eye One, sweet of touch, when singing, seeing, tasting, beware you are and discover the ever-living." Beware you are, this I am, be aware of I am. This is very essential in all the Advaita schools. And also in balanced view, they have it. And this technique, you don't do it for a long time. You do it for short moments, repeated many times, as often as you remember. And Gurujev was trying to do this technique in Russia with Ouspensky and his friends. There were 30 people living in a small house in the countryside. And they were going to remember, self-remembering. And after just 2-3 weeks, most of them gave up and went home. And in the end there was only Gurujev and Ouspensky left. But I think they missed one point, which is so beautiful with balanced view. It is that you don't do it in a very contrived and stiff way. You do it for short moments, repeated many times, and it becomes automatic, continuous. You do it for a split second, self-remembering. You get angry, self-remembering. And in that space, you're not a Pinocchio reacting. You cut all the lines and you can act out of your heart immediately. And it doesn't take time. It's a timeless experience. It takes absolutely no time. So you do it often as you remember. And you experiment with it. You give it a try. And your whole world will be different. And then there's another one which is a little bit hippie-like. 47, 49 is a favorite from the hippies. Wherever satisfaction is found in whatever actualize this. Now, if you like playing tennis or if you like walking in the mountain, make a deal out of it, enjoy it, actualize this, whatever satisfaction is found. If you're collecting stamps, or wherever satisfaction is found, in whatever act, actualize this. If you make it like cooking food, if you like cooking food, make it a meditation. And then there is a favorite one of mine, number 50. You can try that every time you go to sleep. At the point of sleep, when sleep has not yet come, and external wakefulness vanishes, at this point, being is revealed. When you're going to sleep and your thoughts kind of fade away, and you're still not sleeping, there you have a space where being is revealed. And it's also when you wake up. When you wake up from your dreams and you feel that the mind has not really started yet. You know, the washing machine of the thoughts is not spinning around yet, but you're awake, but the computer is not coming on yet, you know. There is no icons on the computer, no mind. And in that space, when between deep sleep and awake, being is revealed. That's a very, very beautiful technique. And 51. It is also used by the balanced view people up the hill here at Tapovan Resort, and in one of their empowering courses. In summer, when you see the entire sky endlessly clear, enter such clarity. You do it for short moments. You have your mantra or mandala or whatever you like to call it in the clear sky. You just look up. There you are. And 59 is about the same thing. Simply by looking into the blue sky, beyond clouds, the serenity. We can say that one because it's so sweet. Simply by looking into the blue sky, beyond clouds, the serenity. I will only give you one more, I think. But there are many that I made circles around. 91 is my favorite. 91. And it was 28 February 1973 when Osho gave this technique. And then all my questions disappeared. I had been traveling for 4 years in India and asking the same question to all the gurus I met. And the question was how to quiet the mind, how to make the mind quiet. Now Shiva says that's not the issue, you're not supposed to quiet the mind. Shiva says like this, you can say after me, wherever your mind is wandering, internally or externally, at this very place, this. So you don't need to change your mind, you don't need to get a mind without thoughts. Wherever your mind is wandering, internally or externally, at that very place, this. So awareness and the dynamic energy of awareness, they are always one. Yeah. If you look at this picture, which is mystical India, this Shiva is awareness, pure awareness, high and clear and limitless, like the blue sky. Now the Devi, she's the dynamic energy of Shiva. She's emotions, thoughts, things, and whatever you experience through the senses, which is moving. He's like the blue sky. She is like the wind or the clouds, which is moving in the blue sky, or the blueness of the sky. If he's the sky, she's like the blueness of the sky. And if he's the air, she's the wind in the air. And you cannot separate them. They are together. They are together all the time. You cannot separate Shiva and Devi. They are one. They are one. So the dynamic energy of awareness and awareness itself are not two things. Therefore, wherever your mind is wandering, internally or externally, this is present. This is present, or awareness is present. in all the forms it takes in the mind. So then when I saw that, I understood, I saw it clearly, that it was not the question to quiet the mind. That's not you don't stop the clouds to go in the sky. You cannot stop the Ganga from flowing. No. You let it be just as it is and experience thisness, mindfulness for being itself. So, by that, oh my goodness. We have time for questions and answers, I hope. So now we go over to that. So I will invite you to the stage. Here I have a red chair. And maybe the person coming here can...
We can take the mic around.
No. I will sit here. If you have any questions, please come forward and sit here. It's more fun. Because this is... Shiva also says life is a theater. And whole life is a theater. He says like this, you can say after me, this is a funny one. This so-called universe appears as a juggling picture show. To be happy, look upon it so. Yeah, to be happy, look upon it so. So it's not for it, it's a theater. So you're playing Satsang now, I'm playing Guru, and you're playing asking questions. So please, one person came. Yes, you like.
Yeah, Devadas, we have been discussing about this book, the Red Book of Secret, and I think you have it on your website. Can you elaborate?
The Book of Secrets, yes. If you go on the Friakademi website, you can download the whole book with 1,500 pages in a split second, short moment of computer ecstasy. It flows into you like a text document. It's very small, easy to download. And then you can copy and paste it somewhere and save it as and read it in your telephone or in your Kindle book or computer. Yeah, but what's the question about?
I have no question, I just wanted to...
Okay, but there was no question. So there must be some other question, please. Take the opportunity now. This is the time, you know, that Andy Warhol said everybody gets 15 minutes of fame. Now you will get on YouTube with this. So please come up here and sit and you get your 15 minutes of fame. Or 2 minutes of fame, depends on a difficult question here. Yes, please. Welcome, welcome. What's your name?
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Betty.
Betty, yeah. Bettima. Bettima. Welcome.
There is no real question coming now, but I must say I enjoy a lot, extremely, your explaining your love for the Shiva Sutras. And as I've been living for a while, a short while, in a Gurukul in Sikkim with Juhla, I've been living Shiva Sutras in daily life. Cooking was a meditation, and cutting the potatoes to be right.
How interesting,
and everything was a meditation. Taking bath was particular meditation. How the water goes on you. Everything, every single thing we would do eat when we were eating, or even in Chakra Puja each night. and we would do the offerings.
Okay.
Of course. We would meditate on the taste. Each particular thing, the 24 hours was meditation.
Oh, that's. You must give me the address to this Gurukula.
Yeah, last year there was an earthquake, so actually the base ashram is gone.
Oh.
I was, I was there. I'm deeply in love with the Shiva Sutras. I actually have never studied them as I have studied a lot in my life, but in this particular area, Baba said first time he saw me, he just felt my pulse and he said, okay, Betty, now you will not read a book for many years. So I have been forbidden, as a very good advice, not to read, because my mind has, we are always trying to analyze, and I've analyzed a lot in my life, and he said, if you will not do that. So I have no background, theoretically, of all this. But I've been living it every minute, every second, of course. And it changed my life to see and feel every action in full awareness. Be aware of everything. The banana I ate now, it was marvelous. Marvelous to become the taste.
You have another memory. We are now operating on the internal memory instead of the external memory. But thisness is happening all the time. Okay, excuse me for interrupting.
Yeah, I was saying that during Chakra Puja, which is the collective meditation, we do collective meditation, but it's in puja form, but everything goes on. Very much in the beginning, I was sitting there, and so there was the puja. But then Baba just started talking, and then Borama was other people talking, and I was do like this. And I say, "Is this still puja? You know, like what's going on? Puja finished? What you know?" And I got scolded very badly because they sensed my challenge, and it was true, I was challenging. My question was, is this puja? You are talking, and then they were very, very hard with me. To say that all this is puja, everything is puja, all day long is puja, but they had to be. They were really scolding me because I needed that, because I didn't understand that. And so the next morning, I go to the kitchen, and we are there. And so Bajra, the black disciple, you have black robes, you have like stages of initiation. So the black robe, who is the highest before the blue robe, Baba has a blue robe. So, and he says, how do you feel, Betty? I said, yeah, I've been crying because it was hard for me. And he gives me this hug and he says, but we are a family. So if we don't scold you, then we just don't care about you. And you see, this is puja. And that was a beautiful lesson for me to see. To really feel that the puja doesn't stop ever. So the puja is a ritual ceremony, like the banana now. It's, yeah. So it becomes very intense. Very intense.
There is no profane time and sacred time. Everything is sacred. Yeah.
Yes, everything. Every single thing.
Yes. Of course. This is wonderful indeed. And okay, thank you.
Do you know Marek Liszkowski?
No.
Teacher, guru in Varanasi, who has edited the Tantra Loka in Publicerad.
I don't know her, and my only source of speaking on this is my own experimenting with basically with myself through 30 years as a school teacher, and I had to do something to not go crazy with all the children. So you have to, for short moments, repeat that I am, or be resting as thisness.
Beautiful. I'm also a teacher, and I must say that the Shiva Sutras, the experience of the Shiva Sutras, have really helped me. I can also even save me. I don't know how to say it, but
and make you have
intense.
I would have an incredible fun time with my school children, because I was not always reacting but acting to all the, because there's so many impulses, so you cannot react on everything, then you go nuts, get very tired. So in this way you survive basically, because this is the only safe place. You have being, I am, thisness. You return to the pace of in moods of extreme anger, for example, be undisturbed. This is one of the techniques in mood, and then instead of going out into the anger, you turn around and you go in the center of the cyclone, where it's like no wind, total peace, and from there, in a split second, you have new ideas about where to go, because you have a view, you have an overlook. So this is my experience. And the teacher was Osho, who explained all the sutras to me in '73. And I was listening many times on the audio from Osho's explanations, maybe 100 times each meditation technique. And then you experiment, but it is basically life that teaches you meditation. Even if the guru puts you on the path, so to say.
Yes. Yeah, I've been blessed to meet him, to be able to live with him, and but yes, I also have a lot of faith with Shiva Sutras. You're not the only one.
Okay. Fantastic. Okay. I found one more.
Adesh.
Thank you very much. Is there any more questions coming up? We are getting over time here a bit, but since I have nothing else to do, I hope we can take one more question. Is there anyone more wanting to? This is the opportunity. No one is coming. So maybe then I just end this Satsang Theatre for this show, and by saying that there are 10,000 questions, and there is no answer to all the questions, really. You have to find out for yourself. And one thing is, if you meditate, when you for short moments go back to your own center, to being, resting in your heart, all the questions disappears. They disappear like if you have dewdrops on the grass or on a rose bush, and the sun goes up in the morning, and the soft wind blows through the grass, and the sunshine comes, and all the dewdrops, they just evaporate and disappears. In this way, all your questions will disappear when you meditate and return to being your true nature, your basic state of natural perfection. And it's great fun. Okay, it's the greatest adventure a man can endeavor, the path of meditation. Before I end, I'd like to say thanks to the soundman and Sacha Dham here, and I will also, of course, give thanks to my guru, which is Osho, but also Goenka-ji and Premvarni living in the jungle over there, Shanti Mayi, beloved Shanti Mayi and Prem Baba here, and Candice O'Denver up at Balanced View at the Tapovan Resort. Go and visit her, she's one of my love affairs. And with that, I also want to say that there are some CDs and things over there that you can, if you're interested, you can give donations to Sacha Dham there, and the donations you give will go to the food for the sadhus. And the CD there contains 9 talks with Osho on the Book of Secrets of the Tantra Sutras. And if you have any questions, please come to me after I will answer them. So, Namaste. Namaste. May the Guru in your heart lead you on the path. Namaste. Hari Om.